Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Jason White, and this is Jason's Weird Reads, and today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be reacting to one-star reviews for one of my favorite books, Pet Sematary. Now, Pet Sematary, we recently read in my book club, Jason's Weird Reads book club. You can find the links for that if you're interested in joining in the comments there. I keep calling it the comments. You can find the book club in the show notes. There's a link there to the Fable app, and so far it's really good. One thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have a lot of indie authors' books there, but you can request it, and there was one book I requested and they actually added it, so that's great. But it took them like a couple of weeks to do so, so just be aware of that if you want to use the Fable app for your own. So this is one-star reviews for Pet Sematary, and some of them are kind of funny. I'm going to read them out to you, and then I'm going to give commentary. Now, I took out the names for the reviewers. You're not going to see any names on here because this isn't an attack on the reviewers. Reviewers are allowed to feel the way they want, but these videos are always fun to watch. I like watching them. That's why I wanted to do my own, and I thought it'd be really cool to do a popular book and a book that we read on my in my book club. So like I said, not a personal attack on the reviewers, but some of them are kind of funny. And some of them are actually, I would agree with them. So let's get on to these reviews. First one: this book is not scary, not in the slightest, which I disagree with. But listen, this one gets kind of weird, I think. I'm an absolute wimp, but I wasn't even mildly scared at any point. Many parts of this book are unbelievable and loaded down with those adverbs King claims to hate, as well as unnecessary details. Reading this book was a chore. I got 300 pages in and had to start skipping over entire paragraphs. Maybe that was part of the problem. Trying to get to the good parts, that never came. As a rule, I skip any part of a book, not so much as a word. Wow, that's okay. That's your reading style, but I never skip any parts of a... Oh, as a rule, I never skip any parts of a book, not so much as a word. But King's detail-laden, bulky paragraphs were difficult to get through and often took readers out of the action for pages at a time. Coming from a writer's perspective, I'm appalled that King saved the majority of the action for the last 60 pages. Call it building suspense if you want, but I think it's a cop-out, a cheap ending that left too many unanswered questions and made me feel like I wasted a few days of my life. Now, I could see, I would imagine that this reviewer, they like fast-paced books. This book is not fast-paced, it's a slow burner, and I think the point of the story is you're supposed to get to know the family very well. And you do get to know the family, so that when the tragedies start happening, that's, you're attached to these characters. You don't want anything bad happening to them. In fact, when I was about a third of the way through, I knew it was coming because I've read the book before. I've seen the movie a bunch of times, and I was like, I don't want the bad things happening to this family, but they're coming anyway. So yeah, okay. You're going to hear some similar points of view in the coming... This isn't the crazy one I thought it was, but there is one that gets a little bit... It's this one here that gets a little weird. It says, I waited and waited. I had seen the movie The Shining back in 1980. That was the scariest movie that I had ever seen. Then I watched a TV talk show one day and Stephen King was on it. He was asked if he had written anything that had frightened him. Yes, he said. I put it away in a drawer because it's too scary for me. Over the years, I have wondered if he ever published the book that he had placed in that drawer. The other day I learned that this was that book, Pet Sematary, so I wanted to read it. But then I didn't. I was talking to a friend about this book, and that was when I learned that she believed in demons. I don't. She believes that he, Stephen King, I suppose, was channeling one of those evil entities. That is why this book is too scary for him to read again. I think it was just a marketing ploy. I don't think he ever claimed there was demons, like your friend did, but it was just that the writing, I imagine the writing in this book was terrible, and I was bored throughout. That's a weird review. But, like I said, if you're not going to get attached to the family, then you're probably going to be bored with this book. That's kind of the point of the books, to get you attached to people and then totally break your heart when they start dying. This next 1-star review says, I want Louis Creed to kill me and bury me in the pet cemetery so that I can come back from the dead and sink my demon teeth into his shoulder. Oh my god, like that one is good. This one made me laugh when I first read it. I adore this review. I mean, why the shoulder? Why not the neck or the hand or the chest? Why the shoulder? He wants to come back and bite Louis Creed in the shoulder. All right, next up. Another 1-star review here. I was really disappointed in this book. In the beginning, when they described the house they move into, the road it's on, I thought, gee, they should put up a fence or stick to playing in the backyard. Obviously, the parents were too stupid to do this, and something horrible happens to their child, and it continues to be horrible. The parents were just too stupid for me to enjoy the book. I couldn't get past their ignorance. Sorry, Mr. King. Usually really enjoy your books. Now, this reviewer brings up a really good point. Why didn't they take measures to protect their young children and put up a fence or something? I mean, there is no mention of bylaws where they can't do such a thing. But, you know, they could have fenced off a play area or something. So that's a good point. It's not necessarily that they're stupid. It was just never brought up. And maybe there was another reason why they couldn't. Maybe they couldn't because of a bylaw, like I just mentioned. All right, next review. Well, this book sucks. All the real action is in the last dozen chapters, and it's not even that scary. This is coming up a lot, that this book isn't scary. I imagine that these people don't have families. But I saw the scariness. I read this book before I had my own family, and I could see how that would be scary, losing your family. So I don't know why there's a disconnect there. I think that maybe they're looking for ghosts and goblins to come out throughout the book. But, you know, the book isn't about that. It's about the Creed family and Judd, good old Judd. One thing I like about Pet Sematary is how it shows you everything on the surface, and then once the shit hits the fan, it shows you the worms underneath the surface and all the nasty things that's going on, again, behind closed doors. All right, next up. I'm not going to mince words here. This book straight up sucks. So many 5-star reviews on Goodreads. I just don't understand it. This book has so many problems that I don't know where to begin. Its worst crime is that it's a total snooze fest. I spent the entire book wondering when the plot was going to kick in, only to realize 3/4 of the way through that this was it. This was all it had to offer. Just scene after scene of a dreadfully boring man having dreadfully boring conversations. Any potential moments of suspense that came along are over-explained and unnaturally lengthened until the scares are gone. Sure. Again, you know, I don't think I need to keep repeating myself here, but it's about the family, and it's about those relationships and conversations. Because at some point, you know, this book is kind of about how nothing lasts. And death is always waiting around the corner. And so when you get attached to something, you don't want it to go away. And it's going to go away. Nothing lasts. All right. Let me see here. There's 4 more. Wow. 5 more. Okay. I don't remember there being that many. Okay. Kept waiting for the story to unleash the terror of the cat brought back from the dead. The cat smells rancid, walks around like a drunk. The cat kills cats, mice, and black crows. Hisses a couple of times. jumps up on a woman's lap. No biting or scratching anybody. Yikes. Does deserve to be kicked, though. Oh, does not even wait on top of a staircase to trip one of the family members down. Makes me wonder if any research on evil cats written in other books, movies, YouTube, meanest cat videos, any farmer about bulls from hell, not it. That was, I don't know, that was a weird review to read, especially the last part, but I think it's funny that they were expecting an evil cat book. They wanted the cat jumps up on the lady's lap and it doesn't scratch her or bite her ears or anything. It's like, wow, okay. All right. This one is a funny review because it's one of those reviews that authors hate. And it's, I ordered the movie, I got a book. So they gave it a 1 star for that. You know, you're not hurting Amazon algorithms with that. You go and complain to Amazon about that. You don't leave a one star review. It's not the author's fault. It's not like he sent you a book instead of the movie. All right, next up, Bad Quality Book Construction is the title. I have not finished reading it, and it has fallen apart and come unglued. Again, that's another complaint to Amazon and maybe even the people who print the book. But yeah, that would be frustrating. You're reading the book and it falls apart. I hate it when pages fall out of books. Next one here. Is this supposed to be scary? I was under the impression that this was supposed to be a page turner. I feel misled. This book is exceedingly slow, with most of it being a build-up based on the protagonist moving his family to Maine near a pet cemetery. But wait, seems there's another sort of cemetery near that one, and, well, it has certain unexplained powers. That's it. The chapters are overly long for this type of horror fiction, and it's not well written. There isn't a memorable line in the whole mess. I began by reading this book at bedtime and was easily able to put it down at night to snooze. Eventually putting it down for days, then weeks, then finally quitting at about 50 pages from the end of the paperback version. I knew where it was going, and it wasn't an enjoyable ride. Did I mention that the author doesn't seem to like young children very much because he kills one off in the book? And in fact, kills the same child twice to drive the point home. The book leaves one with that unpleasant thought, nothing more. Yeah, Stephen King hates children, so he kills them in his books. You know, one could accuse Stephen King of hating dogs, because if there's a dog in a story, it's inevitably going to be kicked to death or killed in some horrible way. And that is not, honestly, that's not... Stephen King doesn't put these things in there because he hates them. He doesn't hate children. He has like 3 or 4 of them. Or he had 3 or 4 of them. They're all adults now. He loves his children. That's what this book is about. His own fear of losing his children. And also the whole dog kicking thing. When he does that in a book, he's using it as a tool to show you that this is a bad guy. Because in real life, Stephen King loves dogs. If you ever followed him on Twitter, he has Molly, or AKA the Thing of Evil. Because, you know, all dogs can be a little bit evil at times. But to think that he hates animals, or in this case children, because he's killed them, no, that's showing a fear, man. All right, this is the last one. Liked it pretty well up until that point. I did not think one of the kids would die. I was more in line of thinking that the cat was going to go berserk and lead some crazy pet army on Halloween night or something like that, and the family would help defeat the thing in the forest. It was just sad and distasteful to me. I see a lot of folks liked it, but it was not for me. He went a little too far with this one. Again, that's... I don't know if people who like this person who left this review, what they thought they were getting into, or maybe they're young and they just don't know what the story is about. Because I think most people my age who are into horror, or even younger than me, they know what Pet Sematary is about, even if they've never seen it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I like the idea of the cat army The undead cat army in the forest haunting the villagers. And the villagers have to fight back. You know, that's an interesting story idea. Maybe they should go write that. If you know what they say, write the books you want to read. So there you go. All right, there is my reaction to 1-star reviews on Stephen King's Pet Sematary. I hope you enjoyed. Leave little cats down there in the darkness for me if you made it this far, and keep being safe and keep being creative. And I'll catch you guys in the next bookish video.